NASCAR just made a huge New Hampshire Chase announcement. For the first time in a decade, championship racing is heading back to Loudon, New Hampshire, and the track that literally started NASCAR's entire postseason era is finally getting its September date back. New Hampshire Motor Speedway confirmed Thursday that the Magic Mile will host 2 Chase races in 2027, and this is not some ceremonial throwback weekend. The part that got buried under the headline is what New Hampshire had to take away from Bristol Motor Speedway to make it happen, and how NASCAR's brand new championship format turns this flat little 1-mile oval into the most stressful racetrack on the entire fall calendar. So let's get into exactly what was announced, because these are dates you want circled. The NASCAR Cup Series and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will both roll into New Hampshire Motor Speedway on the weekend of September 25th and 26th, 2027. Saturday belongs to the trucks, with the Team EJP 175 opening the entire Truck Series Chase in the New England sunshine. Sunday belongs to the Cup cars, and that Loudon race becomes the 3rd event in the 10-race chase for the championship, with coverage set for USA. Track Executive Vice President and General Manager David McGrath said the Speedway is thrilled to return to September and the chase, and he pointed straight at last September's sold-out grandstands as the reason Loudon earned that date back. This will be the 16th time New Hampshire has hosted a postseason Cup Series race. 16. That history is baked into the concrete at this place. Now for the part that is going to absolutely light up the comments section, because New Hampshire did not get handed a bonus date out of thin air. Bristol Motor Speedway gave one up. Both announcements landed Thursday morning from the 2 Speedway Motorsports facilities, and the tracks are essentially swapping places on the calendar. The Bass Pro Shops night race, that thunderous half-mile bullring under the lights, moves back to August 14th as the 23rd of 26 regular season races. Bristol had been sitting in the postseason rotation since 2020, but before that, the night race owned mid to late August, going all the way back to 1978, when Cale Yarborough won the very first one. Bristol leadership wanted that August identity back, the week-long buildup, the campers rolling in, that electricity in the Tennessee hills that you can genuinely feel from the parking lot. Under the old elimination format, a cutoff race at Bristol was appointment television. Under the new format, that same September slot just does not carry the same voltage. So Bristol went home to August, and New Hampshire slid straight into the chase. Honestly, if any racetrack in America has a claim to a September championship date, it is this one. Rewind to September 19th, 2004. The very first chase race in NASCAR history was run right here on the Loudon Oval, the Sylvania 300, and Kurt Busch led 155 laps to win it before going on to capture the championship that season. New Hampshire opened the postseason, and it kept delivering. In 2009, a 50-year-old Mark Martin grabbed the points lead in Loudon, with what turned out to be the 40th and final victory of his career. In 2011, Tony Stewart inherited the lead with 2 laps remaining when Clint Bowyer ran out of fuel on the backstretch, his 2nd straight chase win, and that title run has been argued about in barbershops and infields ever since. New Hampshire hosted a chase or playoff race every single year from 2004 through 2017. Then the calendar shuffled, the track got bounced between June, July, and August, and New England quietly lost its championship weekend for the better part of a decade. The 2027 date also hits differently than the old ones, and this is the piece I think casual fans are going to completely miss. NASCAR blew up the elimination playoff system back in January and brought the original Chase branding back for the 2026 season. The top 16 drivers in points after the 26-race regular season make the field, and that is the entire qualification process. There is no more win and you're in lottery ticket, and there are no 4-driver knockout rounds every 3 weeks. Victories now pay 55 points instead of 40. The top seed opens the chase at 2,100 points, while the 16th seed starts at 2,000. And whoever accumulates the most points across those 10 races lifts the trophy at Homestead Miami Speedway. NASCAR President Steve O'Donnell described it as the balance between full-season points racing and postseason drama. Love it or hate it, the math has fundamentally changed. In a cumulative points chase, race number 3 at a racetrack, where a slow pit stop can drop you a lap down and out of the picture entirely, is not a warm-up lap. A broken right front suspension in turn 3 at Loudon in late September could quietly cost somebody a championship in November. If you are already fired up about a September weekend in the New Hampshire campgrounds, hit that subscribe button, because we break down every schedule move, every chase scenario, and every trackside storyline all season long. Now let's talk about the racetrack itself, because that is where this gets spicy. The Magic Mile is 1.058 miles of flat, low-banked New England asphalt, with wide sweeping corners and long straightaways that absolutely punish any car that will not rotate. Banking sits between 2 and 7 degrees, which means mechanical grip is scarce. Brakes get cooked into glowing orange discs, and track position becomes the most valuable currency on the property. Clean passing is genuinely difficult. Restarts turn into knife fights down into turn 1. Kyle Larson said during 2025 Playoff Media Day that the shorter, flatter racetracks are a real challenge, and that he was not thrilled about seeing Loudon in the postseason, with his team having already circled flat tracks as one of their glaring weaknesses. That reaction is the single best argument in favor of this date. Ryan Blaney rolled into Loudon for the Mobile 1301 and flat out controlled the thing, leading 116 of 301 laps and holding off a furious late charge from Josh Berry by 937 thousandths of a second for his first career New Hampshire victory. Joey Logano started on the pole, led a race-high 147 laps, and still walked away with a 4th-place finish. William Byron finished 3rd for his first ever top 10 at the track after years of frustration in Loudon. Denny Hamlin got shuffled back to 12th and surrendered the playoff points lead. Homestead Miami Speedway is expected to keep championship weekend. Is New Hampshire a legitimate chase racetrack that separates elite teams from pretenders, or did NASCAR just drop a single-file parade into the middle of a title fight? Tell me in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe so you do not miss the rest of the 2027 schedule reveals as they drop.